All right, yeah. So we about to get started. KE.
The following podcast is rated M for mature.
Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Enjoy the show.
Oh, we did it right. Ain't we corny, y'all?
About corny is finna. And if you don't know, now you know. You smoke crack, don't you? Don't you?
Oh, shit.
What happened?
I got do not disturb one, so it's not playing the intro.
We in the city.
I'm all dumb as shit. I'm over here like, why can't I hear it?
412. Coke in the menu. Pittsburgh, what it do?
What's up? I can't see everybody. Oh, Miss Brooks. What's up, Shantae?
We in the city of smoke. We in the city of rivers, so you don't need you a moat. We in the city of haters, so you just might need a coat. Or at least bring your jacket, cause man, the city get cold. Yeah, man, the city is frosty. Yeah, man, the city is costly. But yeah, the city is mine.
It's mine.
412 times.
412.
Cause you know money is time, and you know time is steady ticking, so I gotta get mine.
Gotta get mine.
And it's time to come up.
So put your hands up.
Let's all live this life before death. And no rough, ain't no time for mess up.
Man, you better get with the arithmetic when I'm spitting. I'll do the math as you listening. Common
Conversation 412.
What's up, Pops? What's up, Dad? What's up, Crystal? What's up, people? This is Common Conversation 412, and we are live,
Live, baby.
in this bitch.
In this bitch.
All right, man. Because I feel like you do that to outdo me. I'm not a singer. Well, I'm your host, Token.
And I'm the other host, Mano, M-A-N-N-O.
And that's who we be. That's who we are.
We're going to learn today.
And, yo, you know what? We're going to talk about some interesting stuff. We got some good stuff to talk about. I feel like, you know what I mean? And if you guys participate, we can really converse and, like, get this stuff going.
If.
Yeah.
Oh, they going to participate.
Dad, don't call me baby on the show, please.
So, he don't call you baby on the... So he just allowed to call you baby in real life?
I'm just saying, I'll take it. I'll take
a baby in real life. I could
but so we're gonna talk about housing, living in the projects. So you know what I mean, housing is different. Living in the projects is another topic. We're gonna talk about lifestyles, and many more. And we're not talking about lifestyle condoms, people. We're talking about living lifestyle.
We was giving y'all them weak ass condoms every fucking week
when we were teenagers.
We definitely apologize.
What's up, Hammer?
At the end of the day, I mean, some protection is better than no protection.
That it is.
Fuck that.
That it is. But yeah, so
oh, bruh.
What's up?
I know, Miss Jones, I apologize, but I finally used the soap.
Oh, did you?
And I love that shit.
Oh.
I used that pink baby lotion. Yup. Miss Jones, there you go. Miss Jones, keep making soaps, keep making oils. It felt yeah.
What's up, Sarah?
Yeah. It was man.
What was it?
I had my little loofah. I had my loofah and the pink baby lotion soap, and I was in there just indulging, treating myself. Even men need to treat them. I was exfoliating.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Oh, I'm saying I was feeling good about myself.
Did you feel like smoother than a baby's bottom?
What, man? Fresh out.
Mm-hmm.
Just polished.
Mm-hmm.
Placenta gone.
What's up, Mel? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Fucking umbilical cord didn't even pop off yet. I felt so fucking fresh.
Yo, chill.
Dead ass. Bro, what?
Justina said, "What did you use that I smell you?" Oh, man.
I used it at the house.
Oh,
the other house.
Yeah, but that's what we're going to talk about.
What's up, Sarah Lee?
So you know,
I want cake now. Just reading that made me want fucking cake. God damn it.
Reading her name.
Oh,
because
you know Sarah Lee make like bakery items and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want cake. So, and then like the chocolate pretzels and shit. I want chocolate pretzels.
He's being fat today.
What up, man?
So
with your chocolatey self.
So
where Joby? Where did the double chocolatey drop twins? Where they at?
I don't know. Joby been at MIA for a while. What's up, whoever's on YouTube?
She ain't been at work?
No, she's been at work. I'm talking about from the show.
Drop her ass on the elbow.
But so like I said, we're gonna talk about housing, and you know what? Like, so what do you know what? So I really want to ask this question: what does housing mean to you? So, like, you know what I mean, when you talk about, like, you know what I mean, just housing. If you
I hear, because when you hear growing up in the Jecks, when I hear housing, I think literally like the old black man with a hat like this on, riding a little golf cart with a garbage can on the back. Meanwhile, he's supposed to be cutting the grass, but his ass is down at the corner store. And I think of like a housing development, like projects.
Yeah. So when you think projects, when you think of housing, you think projects. I mean, and that's fair because you know what I mean, when we grew up, you know what I mean, housing authority, like, you know what I mean. HACP.
Now, if you disassociate, like, okay, what we know when you think of housing is just like literally like shelter, like it's a place for you to live and lay your head, like whether you're renting or owning. It's just it's housing. It's what it is. Now, if you're in the housing development or if you're in the housing, just in a house, there's something, you know what I mean, it's broad. It's it's a spectrum. There's so many different things when it comes to housing.
Melanie says stability.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's you know that's a good one. And guys, so you could comment in too, like, you know what I mean, what does, when you hear the word housing, what comes to mind? What comes to mind when you hear the word housing?
But growing up north, man, housing, I think housing authority, like
and that's honestly when you think about that, and then until I got older and I really took it like, you know what I mean, just really took housing in, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I got out of that housing authority type of thing. Mo Hawkins said a stepping stone. And we're going to get into that, speaking of stepping stone, when we talk about living in the
projects.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, projects.
We're going to talk a little bit more about both of them. So I mean, and it took me a while to get to that, but when I really think of how that, like Mel said, I think of now in my age now, where I'm at now, I think of stability. I think about foundation. I think about passing down too. Like, when I think about housing, I think about mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
mine.
Yeah, that's what comes to my mind.
Not mine, but it's mine.
I mean, but I think about mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like some goals that I have. Wow. So Crystal said a difference between a house and a home. My dad said placed. Yes, and you know, and again too, the word housing can mean whatever, like many different things to many different people. It's just, you know what I mean, just a word, and how you take it is, you know what I mean, that's what it means to you. And I don't think any of you guys are wrong with your answer and stuff like that. But
I mean, you can't be wrong, because it's your opinion of what it is.
Right.
Now, the definition of housing is blah, 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 blah. But no, like, when you hear that word, what do you think? Like, me, literally, as soon as I hear housing, I think of like, and I also think of like good times.
Yeah.
And like memories when I hear housing. Granted, housing, like, and it's only connected because housing authority, and that's what we call them.
Right.
Like, we call it. So once you hear housing, it's like, oh, you got to deal with these assholes, or oh man, they're over there just fucking some shit up, or oh, they done put up a fence around the basketball court to redo the fucking rims or some shit, or but it's still like, it's like the workers of the project. Mm-hmm. That's what pops up really, is like the people you got to deal with in the Jecks,
right?
Like the people that run it, and the people that maintain it.
So we talk about housing and stuff like that. So for me, and then I'm just getting a little, not too personal, but like personal. Like, when I think of housing, it's again too, it's something that I want to give to my kids. Like, you know what I mean, I want to own my own house. Like, you know, I feel like everybody wants to own their own house, but I'm just saying, like, in the next couple years, and we talked about this, I want to own my own house. I want to give my children one of them or both of them. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, let them sell the motherfucker and
split it or whatever like that, right? But I want to give them something. If I was to go out, like, you know what I mean, years from now, I'm hoping years from now, like, you know what I mean, I have something to give to them, or me and my wife, we have something to give to them, like, you know what I mean, if it's a house, like, you know what I mean, and just building our own memories on something that we have, because and me and my wife had this conversation a few times, but, like, you know, my kids really want a pool. Like, you know what I mean, and I mean, I know we live in Pittsburgh, so you can't use the pool all year round and stuff like that, but they really,
you could use Aaron's pool all year round.
Yeah, because he got the heated. I mean, you probably can if you get a heated pool and stuff like that. But my kids really want to
figure out a way to get over Aaron's house to use that pool.
Right, this summer. But I really,
it's winter. I use the heat.
I really want that's something that I really want to do, and that's something I really want to provide to them and for them.
Definitely,
like, you know what I mean? Is that house?
That's something that you can do because like before we even came here, I was telling him like I was listening to this guy. His name is Dave Ramsey. Look him up.
Yeah.
And it's like that's something you want to do. That's something you got to strive to do. You got to work hard to do that. And at the end of the day, it's like the projects is a stepping stone for you to get your first steps, or if you slip off your pivot, for you to get back up.
Right.
So like literally, there's so many people that are using the projects as not even just using, because some people. Like, because there's always exceptions to the rule and there's always different scenarios. But there are a lot of people that are, like, stuck in this project mentality where it's like they're comfortable there. Mm-hmm. So they really don't want to move on because it's weird. Like, because people will see, like, well, if I get a job, I'll lose my benefits and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my rent will go up here in the projects. And I shouldn't be paying $550 a month for rent in the projects. But if I don't get a job, my rent's $32 and my health care is fully paid for because now I'm eligible to get welfare and all that. The project should be a stepping stone for you to grow.
Right.
So it's just subsidized housing. Right. It's literally just a stepping stone. Mm-hmm. Now there's people where it's like, I mean, they keep bumbling a bit, you know what I mean, just moseying around and it's hard for them to get a good footing in life. Mm-hmm. But there's way more people that are just, they feel like they're saving so much that if they do bullshit, they make out in the long run. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, they're not planning to grow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you'll have like literally like people where it's like they'd rather have a job that pays them $17,000 a year and hustle or jitney on the side just so they can stay in the projects.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that. Also, I think people who, and again too, we're not putting nobody down that live up there because we no, I mean, I'm just saying. I just want to throw that disclaimer out there, and because we came from there, we are. I like when you talk about projects and you talk about Northview, you're talking about me, right? Because I mean, that's how I feel because I grew up there.
Talking about half of me because I was the little boy where it was like literally like I was born in Homewood.
Right.
Then we stayed in Ohio for a little bit. I don't even remember this time. And then we moved up Fineview. What, motherfucker?
You from Ohio for real?
No, I'm from Homewood.
My dad's from Ohio.
What the fuck
but
are you talking about? No, I mean like so little, like it's months, like not even. No, I was born in Homewood. We stayed in Ohio for a real little bit, and then we went to Fineview.
No, hold on. I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but so and. So if you didn't see this comment, like look at Brittany's comment because Amanda was just telling me about this before we started the show. She said I follow Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. Yep. In less than a year and a half, my finances and I paid off our debt and bought a house. Like, you know what I mean?
So I swear to God, when I came into this room, I said, you know what?
That's a good
resource. We don't have any topics. Let's talk about finance. He's like, you know what? Let's research this. Let's look more into it, and then we'll talk about it for a later show. And that's something that I've just gotten into, Dave Ramsey. That's why I threw him out there. Like, look up Dave Ramsey and just look up his podcast or his YouTube. Follow him on YouTube and listen to what he got to say because he drops jewels. And if you're willing to make these sacrifices and work hard, I mean, like work fucking hard. There's like no limits to what you can achieve, and also start like getting your budget in line.
Right.
And this is the type of stuff that'll help you get out of the projects. Mm-hmm. Because granted, we grew up there, but the projects aren't what we grew up with.
Yeah. Right.
Like people aren't getting beat up and jumped; they're getting killed now.
Right.
So I'm less likely. If I go to the projects, I don't plan on staying there or getting comfortable at all. It's a in and out type shit.
And that's what we gotta live. But I want to give us just real quick, just recognize some of these people. Mo said, just talking about what does housing mean. It says family time and togetherness. Mm-hmm. Elwood said owning a house gains wealth. And we seen Brittany's thing. You know what I mean? And so I just wanted to put that. Ashley said affordable. You don't have to worry about the loss of a job or financial changes affecting you, especially when you have kids. That's just what she's talking about as far as when she think about housing. I think that's where she was going with that.
But this is another thing where it's like if you look him up, he helps you lay out a plan.
Yeah.
so that you can actually become an adult, because a lot of us weren't taught to be adults. We were taught to like spend and deal with consequence later and never really plan. And what he's teaching you is like how to save. Pay attention to the money that you got coming in. Make sure you're not spending more money than you're actually earning. Don't pick up debts that you really can't afford. Like honestly, if you can't buy it straight out, you don't deserve it.
Right.
And it's teaching you to stop depending on credits and loans and actually depend on yourself and earn something.
Right. And you know what? That's one thing I could say what I did with myself too. And we're just talking a little bit about credit and repairing and you know what I mean, getting some financial stability and even learning that for yourself. Because I mean, honestly, like I said, I just turned 29 this year, and that's one of the things that's my focus now. So everything now is like, you know what I mean. I'll be honest. I was looking at people like Brittany and some other people that we work with. Even another friend of mine just recently just posted.
Appreciate it if you guys would hit that share button one time for
looking at what they're posting on Facebook, and everybody's buying house, and all my peers is buying house. People I grew up with, people who I know, and it's just like I like, you know what I mean. I'm again not that's something that I want too, and it's just like, you know what, and I just looked at it like, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Definitely.
Like, you know what I mean. I'm making the steps, and I'm financially, and that's all I say too, real quick. If you're making $17,000 a year or $15,000 a year, but fuck it, 13, whatever. If you got an income, you got a job, and you're getting minimum wage or whatever like that,
barely getting by,
and if you're barely getting by, but you're driving and striving to want to be better, to get better, and to grow. Like, you know what I mean, keep hustling. Like, you know what I mean, I'm not knocking you. I feel like, you know what I mean, as long as you stay focused and you stay on your grind, like, honestly, you can get to where you can get to where you want to be. Honestly, you can't have nobody knock you off track, or you can't get discouraged on some real stuff. Like, you know what I mean, I look at all that stuff. Like, I really had to sit back, and I'm like, you know what, and I mean, luckily, I got a little promotion at work, but I'm like, you know what, I'm not even gonna look at that extra money I got now. That's just going into a savings, so I can work on. I'm trying to pay off my debt, student loans and stuff like that. Even though I got student loans, I ain't even got a degree, but you know what I mean, I got student loans, but you know what I mean, working on that stuff.
Person, you know what I mean.
Right.
Like, you're not the only person. And then, like, you unknowingly are following certain steps that Dave Ramsey is teaching. Right. Like, you're working. You have your full-time job. And you have side hustles. You're taking pictures over here. You're doing different stuff. And you're slowly... But the only thing is like, you need to work on saving.
Right.
And that's me too. Like, I can't even sit there and say that's me too.
Right. Like, because even before this year, I never really I had a savings account, but you know what I mean, the only thing that was in there was that $10 they made me put in there at the beginning when you first opened it. And
everything else you put in there, you end up taking out because you needed it.
Because you need it. Like, right. Or then it eventually ended up closing. And you know what I mean? Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Chantel too, because I seen her, like, you know what I mean, go through the process, and she's helping me. Like, she be helping me. I know if I can ask some of my coworkers on, like, you know what I mean, like, what should I do, or how should I go about this? I'm telling you, like, you know what I mean, they'll support me, and they'll give me advice. That's what you also need to do too, man. Like, you know what I mean, it's okay. Like, I know we all got negative friends, and we all got some people who, you know what I mean, or, you know what I mean, not that positive, or you know what I mean, or just want to stay stuck in the same place. But you got to get around some people who got the same, like, you know what I mean, kind of the same goals as you, the same ambitions as you, and like, you know what I mean, and want better for themselves and want better for you. Like, you know what I mean, like, if the people that I name, I'm like I said, like, you know what I mean, a real friend or somebody who really supports you, somebody who's really in your corner. If you go to them with a question, they'll try to help you and provide you with an answer, or have your back, and help you look for it together. Like, you know what I mean? And that's what I'll say about, like, you know what I mean, like my friends, like Chantel, like Brittany, and everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just talking about them too because I see them in here. But, like, you know what I mean, I see them going through that process, and Aaron too. But, like, you know what I mean, I see them going through that. I seen them go through that process. Then I seen, like, you know what I mean, hey, you know what? I know from looking at them, hey, stress comes, right? You know what I mean? You really got to save. You really got to stay focused. You really got to be determined. And they showed me, like, you know what I mean, what it's going to look like and what you might have to go through. So, and it helped me prepare myself. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, there's some other stuff. Chantel's like, hey, you know what? No, to one you can do. You just do it yourself. You ain't got to go through these people. I'm like, and that's what I got to probably, I might try to go this way. I listen to her advice, but, like, you know what I mean? It's just, I know, like, as for me, I know what I want, but I know my discipline level isn't quite there yet.
And that's what you need to work on, because it's like, and this is the thing, it's like, a lot of people are impulse buyers, and this is where it goes with lifestyle. And what I get when I hear, like, lifestyle, this is what I can actually afford to do.
Right.
Like, this is my lifestyle. These are my vices. This is what I can actually afford to do without driving myself broke or driving myself into the ground, or, like, putting my family at risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of when I say lifestyle. Like most people think of lifestyle like what I can spend. Like no, I think like what can I actually do? And you need to learn. People need to learn how to budget
Yeah,
that into their life. And I put this status up a couple days ago while listening to this. Like I'm running through like shows of his back to back.
Right, man.
While listening, I literally was like, you have too many people out here with a $35,000 income trying to live like they have $100,000 income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did make that status.
Like literally,
Right.
Like, and it's one of those things where you start to realize where people are trying to live others' lives instead of living the life that they can afford.
Right. So Elwood said, if you make $20,000, you shouldn't try to buy a $40,000 car.
Exactly, because you can't afford a $40,000 car. You can't even technically afford a $10,000 car. That's half of your income. You can't really afford it.
What's up, Jermaine?
Especially if you don't have, and this is just potential income. This isn't even your income. This is what you could get if you don't call off, and we're assuming this is after taxes.
Right.
We're going to assume. But if this is what you're getting after taxes, this is what you could get if you don't call off, if you don't get sick, if you don't have appointments that you got to cut out early for. This is what you could get. So this isn't even guaranteed money, and you're spending money that you don't have already. So it's like instead of working to earn a better living wage, or working to like get ahead in life and actually earn some stuff, people are just buying stuff and hoping that they can afford it on the back end because the finance company squoze in a little $100 payment that you could afford, but now you don't have money for gas.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or, right.
You get what I'm saying?
So now you're going. What Jermaine said. Live your means. Know your worth.
And quit trying to live somebody else's life because you've been tricked and you've been taught that's what you need to be, just as good or better than the person that makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Because all it is a fucking everybody trying to put their dick on the table or their tits on the table.
Yeah.
Trying to show off, and not everybody, but the people that we're talking about is the people that literally cannot afford to do the things they're doing. And another thing that I put on shit today, where I said like a lot of people are worried about the price of the new J's, and I'm worried about how to turn double-digit thousands of dollars into triple digits.
Right. You know what?
Like, it's all about growth. So
that's so crazy because like when we look at when I'm like even like when you look at some of the stuff what I want to say real quick too is that like even for me, right, I know even before I moved out of Northview, I knew.
Damn, I apologize. Wait, can I reword that? Because I just sounded like such a fucking project, baby. Tens of thousands of dollars, convert that to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, there we go.
That bothered me. I apologize.
But when I moved out of, like, so even before I moved out of Northview, I had a plan to buy a house, right?
Yeah.
But living and I had to know, I really did some thinking, and I just started like, you know what, I got to do this, right? So my first step was actually moving out of Northview. Mm-hmm. I had to move out of Northview, right? And I live in a place that's a little bit better, right? But I had to learn how to pay utilities. I never paid utilities before, and now I'm living in a place to where now I'm working again. Too, it's some small steps, and I really didn't like. You really got to think about it's the small steps, right? So now I'm living in a place to where I got to learn how to pay utilities. Got to worry about making and even with that, them utility bills and stuff like that, like you paying them can build your credit, help your credit and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you ain't going. Place. Yeah, right. So and learning how to manage money because for me it's just like growing up in a project, shit, motherfucker, you leave the lights on 24/7. Like you know what I mean?
You can sleep with the TV on. You can leave the lights on. You can let the fucking water run all damn day. No worries.
And they made it easier to stay because then they gave us central air. What? Like you know what I mean? It's just like you can leave out one all
I'm trying
day.
to think like, did I have central?
No, you didn't.
That's
right. So yeah. So like, you know what I mean?
That was spoiled project.
Yeah, no, just now. Like you know what I mean?
That was Project Adults.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Just these past couple of months. So like seeing that, it's just like you know what, like. Damn, but I had to move out, and I said, this is a stepping stone because I got to learn how to pay. Because now when you own a house, it comes sewage and trash and water and all this stuff. So now, like, you know what I mean? Oh shit!
On if you lean one way or another.
Do I gotta pee every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes? No, let me hold that jar for a half an hour. Like you know what I mean?
Like,
every 3 P's is a flush. Like you know what I mean? No, I'm just joking. But
that's dirty as hell.
No, but for real, like you know what I mean? And that's some of the stuff I really like. I sat there and I really. Like you know what I mean, had to think about like you know what I mean, I'm making the right moves.
It definitely is, especially when and people don't be ashamed. Like it's good I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting the finer things in life.
Mel
But if
said
you're
people's
broke, you
Cardinals.
don't deserve the finer things in life.
Right.
Like, and you
No,
can take that.
hold up.
Listen,
I
go
don't
ahead.
say.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you
Because
finish your
if you're
statement.
broke, you don't deserve it. What I mean by that is, if you're broke, you shouldn't be buying that shit because you couldn't afford
Okay,
it.
but that's different saying you don't deserve it.
you don't deserve it because you haven't earned it and you can't afford it, so you don't deserve it.
Right. So, but that
I'm not saying that you can't work your way up to deserving it, because once you get to once you grow and you're financially stable, like, you don't deserve it if you're not financially stable.
no,
don't deserve
you
it.
deserve it.
No, you don't.
But you just you gotta work your way to be able to.
But you're not
to get it for yourself.
But you're saying
And then
you're
keep
talking
it
about what I'm
stable.
talking about. You gotta earn to deserve something. You don't deserve something if you can't afford it. If
No,
you can't
you-
afford it, you shouldn't be putting yourself in debt to get that. You didn't deserve it. You didn't earn it yet.
No, this is what I say. You don't deserve to keep the house if you can't make the payments, right? But you deserve everybody. I
That
feel like
falls
everybody.
under the
I feel
final
like
things.
I feel like everybody deserve to own their own house. They
Yes,
right. But like
but
I
if
mean,
you
but
can't
now what are you
afford
going to
it-
do? But it's all about what are you going to do to get there, and what are you going to do to keep it, right? That's what it's about. That's what you go into
Yeah.
budgeting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So everybody deserves it, but it's like what are
Now,
you going to do?
This is what I'm saying. Now, if you make $50,000 a year, do you deserve $1 million house?
Huh?
Do you deserve $1 million house?
If you
Unless
make-
you make if you make $50,000 a year, do you deserve $1 million house? Do you
No.
get what I'm saying?
No,
now,
no,
once you
it's
die,
not-
if you make
Right, but I'm
millions of
not
dollars,
saying right
then-
with the word deserve. I feel like if
But that's my thing. My thing is, like, you got to earn the things that you deserve.
Right.
That's where you're just hearing deserve, and you're feeling like you shouldn't be able to take anything. You don't deserve it because you haven't earned it.
no, I feel
That's
like
what I'm saying.
That's different than can you afford $1 million house? If you make $50,000, you can't. No, you can't afford $1 million.
So you
house.
don't deserve it.
I mean, no,
That's what.
that means
So
you
you're
gotta
getting hung
keep
up
that.
on one word, but we're saying the same thing. You're agreeing with me. You just don't like the wording.
Yeah, I think deserves is a bad word.
But it's not, because
I
if
mean,
you
I
haven't
think that's
earned
right.
it, you don't deserve
look,
it.
You use the words you want to use. I'm just me personally.
You're saying, trying to
wouldn't
say,
use
how
that.
can you say somebody deserves something or not? Like, if you can't afford it, you don't deserve it. That's how I can use those words. It's that simple.
Right. I mean,
And don't want to judge anybody, and it's not locking you out, saying like you never deserve. It's like, at this moment, can you afford it? No, then you don't deserve it. It's that simple. And quit trying to squeeze into, like, and I granted, people
Right.
will make reasons around the world to go and put themselves in debt or go and buy something, where it's like, well, I have a credit card and I can afford the minimum payments on the credit card, so
Yeah,
I deserve. I feel that I can afford to max out my credit card. You don't know how many people that I see do that every day.
I mean, but people make the mistakes. But I think even when like you know what I mean, you still gotta learn from your mistakes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, everybody's agreeing.
And
You
that's
gotta
what I'm
make
saying.
sacrifices.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean.
Yes.
If you feel like you can't afford something right there, like say for instance, you get that house and then something and you know something happens, you gotta get a new roof or something like that. You gotta grind harder. That's what Rondea is saying. Yeah, West. I think I said her name right. Yeah, but you know what I mean. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, like that's the difference. It's like you're worried about the wording. I'm not being nice about what I'm saying. Because I'm gonna keep saying you don't deserve it because you haven't earned it, and you're putting yourself way back when, where you know what's going to happen if you can't deserve it. If you haven't earned it yet, you have all of this debt over here, which is going to kill you on interest. Because you really can't afford that at all.
Right.
You're going to be in the hole until you're
But
fucking
you grind,
80.
but you grind harder.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
grind
But you're
harder.
saying- but you haven't even earned or made any investments or made any way to grow to really earn that. Now, if you
but
grind
you
harder
don't
and you
know
want to
if
do
you did, but you
1,000
did.
minimum wage jobs, you're never going to reach
No,
that
but
peak.
you ain't got to do 1,000 minimum wage.
Uh-huh.
Look, this is what I say right now. Right now, me and I'm going by me.
Yes.
Right. Right now, I can afford to live here. Right.
You can afford to live here, so you deserve to live here. Yes.
I can afford to live here.
Yeah.
But that don't mean again too. I don't want to stay here, so I'm grinding even harder. Right.
And that's not what I'm talking about.
But hold on. But you can get what you want and still like. Hold on, I fucked up my point. Because you said something and then it fucked me up. That's all I'm saying is you still can work. You ain't gotta you ain't gotta do 1,000 jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could or 1,000 minimum wage jobs. Like you could do something like a hobby, and your hobby can make you money. Like even for both of us, we both was doing photography. We both. Like I mean, we both can afford to live and
is this a
provide for our
retort to
family.
what I said?
When you said 1,000 jobs, yeah.
No, but what my whole point to begin with, the $1 million house and you make $50,000.
No, I
because that's what I'm talking about this whole time.
Right, but you don't. Yeah, okay.
That's what I've been talking about this whole time. So it's like you're talking about, instead of saving up and trying to better yourself.
Rayonda. I'm sorry, Rayonda.
What happened?
Yeah, Rayonda.
Oh, you mispronounced her name?
Yeah, pronounce her name.
You better stop that. But my whole thing is literally like, if you're going to like live in your means and strive to grow yourself so that you can earn those better things that you got your eyes on. Now I'm not saying that you can't never get there.
I agree with you,
But what I'm literally saying is, if like you can have all the fight in the world and all the struggle in the world, but if you're going to sit there and grind harder, what is your grind going to be? Because now you're grinding against a debt that you should never have had. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're starting in the hole when you need to work up.
When you buy a house, you start in the hole.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't have to. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, unless you hit the lottery.
No, the fuck you don't, because you can save. There's plenty of people that'll save some odd thousands of dollars a year or work on their education and get a better job.
You're missing a point. No matter what, when you buy a house, you're in the hole. It doesn't matter if your income is only when you buy a house, you buy a $100,000 house, right? Because they actually say the house. I think it's your salary and your income 1.5 times or something like that. That's what the house you can afford to buy. Right,
salary 1.5 times.
1.5 times or two, maybe it's 2 times or whatever like that. That's the house you can afford. And Brittany and whoever else is in here who bought a house, let me know let us know what it is.
Okay.
But so what I'm saying is, when you buy a house, you really can't. If something was like, you know what, we're taking a house from you because you don't have this. You don't have that house. You don't have the money. So when you buy a house, you buy a $100,000 house, you're in debt $100,000. Or
what I'm talking about is earning that $100,000 house. Well, meanwhile, but this is what I'm saying.
You still got to work and grind.
So like, you're sitting here talking about debt. I'm talking about the other side. What I'm talking about is that you can approach this shit smarter. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, where like, if you're sitting there and you go into $1 million house with a $50,000 income, you haven't earned it, and you're talking about grind. It's like, there's not that many side gigs that you can just do to make a dent in $1 million house. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if it's sitting there like, if you make $50,000 and you bought a $100,000 house, like, yeah, you can do something there. That's what I mean by living in your means. Live what you can afford. I'm talking to people that are abstractly living this scenario that's not possible. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Brittany said it's 3 times your income.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. And then also, there's certain things that you can do.
No, I'm talking about myself. I was just there's nothing up there.
Motherfucker, you
I was just
scared me.
Damn, my bad.
You motherfucker, you don't do that.
My bad.
Oh shit! So you telling me that I can afford?
Yeah, that's why I was just did the math in my head. I just did. That's why that was my damn.
Hey, I got 100 over 100, bro.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But that is real. Like, you know. And
but my thing is like, I want people to realize what they can.
I think credit is a scam too. But
it is a scam because you're borrowing money that you shouldn't have. Let's just be honest.
Right.
Like, loans it's literally, if you can't do it on your own, you shouldn't. Like, turn to your family, not to the motherfucker that's going to charge you $100 for $100.
And sometimes the motherfuckers is in your family. You don't know.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean.
You're right.
So you're right. Like, it doesn't.
You're right. I can't even argue that.
Like,
but there's people that need to downgrade how they're trying to live to hold up this image and comfort. Sometimes you just gotta struggle.
Look, you know me. I'm impulsive.
Oh my god.
I am impulsive. So if I got something in my mind, I feel like I'm gonna do it. Like, for instance, my goal is to buy a house. Honestly, I would like to buy a house in the next fucking 2 years, but I'm giving myself 5. Right?
God damn, bro.
I'm giving myself 5.
But what's your savings like? What's your you got to have those type of stuff in place.
Right. I told so when my savings.
Don't say that shit on air.
No, I'm not talking about my income or nothing. But what I'm saving,
you motherfuckers don't need to know he a big baller.
No, I'm not a big baller. No, I got $100 out of each one of my paychecks going into a savings account. Right? Now that's not saying.
Stop talking about how you saving money. You saving money.
I'm saving money, but I'm just saying that's not saying on my income. I just got $100 coming out my motherfucker. My paycheck could be fucking $400. I got $100 going in there. That don't mean I'm rich.
It's 25% of his income. Yeah, what he said.
Like, you know what I mean?
But that do give a little bit of a calculation of how much you got saved.
3 times your income. 3 times your income for 20 years, and up to 4 times for 30 years. I guess that's the mortgage.
Yeah.
So,
but in the midst of that, you should be grinding hard to pay your house off early.
Right. I mean,
that's the goal.
But again, too, now that's some side jobs. That's where them side jobs come in.
Yeah, But what I'm saying is that that's still
Because,
she,
like, to me-
listen, she's using an algorithm.
No,
man.
no, that was Elwood's.
No,
post
but I'm
right
saying,
there.
but that's an algorithm. That's
Right.
math. That's something that's it's reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm talking about these people that aren't living reasonably. That's why I put
I get that.
at that crazy ass number out there, because it's like until you're in a better position, you're not going to make a dent in that, and you're putting a mean ass monkey on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Instead of striving to get into a better place, striving to better your income, striving to, because you know what they
Like
would
what
say
we
is that
just
you
see on
can't afford
YouTube.
that house because you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to afford the payments on that, because what are you putting down with a $50,000 income? You see what I'm saying?
Right. But that's why you have the savings, and then when you get that house,
So you're going to
could-
burn through your savings, and you still can't afford them. You know, you get what I'm saying?
Look,
you still really
like
can't afford
I
it.
agree with you. You got to grind. Like I believe
But
you got to
you
grind.
got to get in a
I feel
better
like,
position and live within your
Look,
position.
this what I'm telling you. There's nobody in this world, like even me, right now with my income, they like you know what I mean. I can get a over $100,000 house or whatever like
yeah,
that, right?
Both of us. Yeah.
But don't.
I mean,
don't,
I can't.
Don't.
I
don't.
can't. I can't
don't
live
tell
for like
me
a $20,000 house.
Like if I get lucky and get a $3,000 house or something like that, or not saying get lucky or like you know what I mean. Right, lucky. We'll use lucky. If I get lucky and get a $300,000 house, like you know what I mean. Now, to most people, I'm probably like shit. Like that was too much. Like you know what I mean. But to me, it's just like, and you know how I am. I mean, and people who's on the show, and if you know me and you know me personally, you know how I am. I will do anything to keep to make sure I keep my house.
But that's the thing, is that you stepped in and now you're destroying yourself.
I'm not
fighting a debt that you didn't have to walk.
No, I
into.
mean,
that's
right.
the point. Is where
Right, I get what you're
instead
saying,
of
but
building to afford it, you just run into it, and now you're struggling to afford
right.
it.
I get what you're saying. It's not, but
Yeah.
but it's not. This is how I look at it. Like I mean I get it, but like to me it's just like if that's something I like, you know what I mean, if that gives me what I need or what I want for my family, I'm gonna make sure I work hard and push and provide that for my family. It doesn't matter if I gotta, hey, you know what? If I gotta just say, you know what, now and say for just doing photos on a weekend and shit like that, nah, I need to open myself up to Monday through Sunday or whatever like that. That's not really killing me. I'm just doing it a little bit more.
But then now that's starting to bleed into
And
now
still
you're taking
going bowling
away
on Sundays.
and you're taking away from your family now.
I mean,
You see what I'm saying? Instead of building up to
probably
something,
not.
you're
I
gonna
mean,
run
but
into something and then have to
photography,
work
I'm not-
backwards.
I don't have that much clientele or whatever like
No,
that.
but now you're saying you're going to have to fill your schedule even more, take away from your family so that you could afford this impulse buy.
yeah, yeah, and then too, like everybody keeps shouting them out, man. Like you know what I mean. If you really, if this is something that you're interested in doing, is
definitely look it up.
repairing your credit and stuff like that. And
Where you
wanting to
want
buy
them?
a house. Shout out. I mean, yeah, go look up Dave Ramsey. Like you said, you can find him on
And-
YouTube. Brittany said there's DVDs out there.
And I'm going to be
Like,
honest, guys, I say this,
okay.
like, you may not like the way that you may not like the way, because I like blunt, straightforward.
Right, but
He's
you
gonna,
need- that's what
you're
you
going to
need.
hear. You're going to hear a country accent. It's an old white guy. So you people that sit there and don't want to take, because the white man don't know the struggle. Like, he's not about that. He's about fixing financial problems. He's not about race. He's not. It doesn't matter. You're going to hear a country sounding white Christian male, and he's dropping jewels. Period. He's
Right.
dropping jewels. Just listen, because there's certain stuff that you can implement where it's like, okay, you're not making that much and you're struggling to pay for a car.
Yeah.
And you end up having like literally where you can't save because your car is too expensive. So try to find something that you can afford, or get you a little putt until you get into a better position to afford a not even the newest car, because I don't even believe in
Right,
buying
boy,
the
I
newest
agree
car
with you
newest
too,
year.
buddy.
I
Right.
believe in building up to that, because chances are you're buying the newest car for it to depreciate as soon as you leave off the lot.
Right.
And then within, 3 years, your car drops in, like 40% of its value. Like, it's
So Jimmy, yeah, right. I get you, Jimmy. What did real quick put in the comments so people can know? You talk about the class is $120 for the class. So what all did the class do?
What, the
all,
finance class from
Yeah,
Dave Ramsey?
yeah. What all did it entail or whatever like that? So people can know, so they can know on here to look on there and stuff like that. Put that in there.
It's basically financial steps for you to put a safety net under yourself,
Right.
and for you to get the drive to tackle your debt. And then, he doesn't include your house in your debt. That's its own thing.
Right.
So you tackle all of your debts, student loans, credit cards, car, shit that you really can't afford, and then you tackle your houses, like get that paid off as fast as possible. And granted, like you're gonna grind, you may have to, like your budget's gonna be tight, but at the end of the day, it's like once you're debt free, all of that money starts flowing back to you, because that's what it's going to feel like, because you're not paying it on bills.
Yeah.
So now you're like,
I mean, and that's what I did too. Like I
Damn.
said, like I always wanted to buy a house, and then when we moved here, I think I just paid off my car, and then I was just like, that car was just like doing some shit, and I was just like, you know what, I don't want it to take a chance because I need my car for my job. I bought another car, but I paid my car off in 4 years. I was supposed to pay it off in 5. I paid it off in 4. I paid it a little early, and that's my goal.
for this car?
For this car. To pay it off early and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? And just to work on, and I don't do that stuff. And what I do, because I want to build my credit. So me personally, what I do is, and this is another trick, guys, you can use it or not, but I'm just giving some advice, like my car note, right? When I get my taxes, I take my car note out for the year and put it in my account. So now it's automatic
have to
payment.
pay it at all.
Yeah, so it's automatic payment, and I don't have to pay it.
with it
So,
at all.
yeah, so it's already now say for instance, now I got that extra money, like pocket money. Now that money can probably drop into the savings, right?
But see, what this would be is that since you bought it already, what he would say is throw that at the car.
What?
And your student loans, that extra money.
Yeah, that's
so that you
that's
can
what
pay
I'm
it
saying.
off
But
quicker.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is because I don't. Like me personally, I want also at the same time I'm building my credit. So I got to build my credit.
And this is another thing
Right.
where it's like,
So,
you're
hold on.
working to, no, but just let me say this one part, is that you're working to depend on credit. He's trying to teach, no, listen.
I'm not
So
working-
you're working to have good credit so that you can go and get a mortgage and all this other
Right.
stuff. So,
So I'm not
he's-
working to depend on
yes,
credit.
that's what you're working for.
No, because
But what
without
he's trying to-
that, hold
listen,
on,
can I finish what I
because
say?
you ice. But let me respond to that comment.
You're working to
Because
depend on
you
credit.
stopped me.
Go ahead.
But I'm not
No.
working to build credit.
You are working to build credit.
No, but you said
so that you can use it.
Yeah, but
Which makes it something you need to depend on because you
No,
need it.
yeah, right, but it's not. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. It's not something that I depend on. It's not something that I need to depend on. But that's something. The only way we can get that right, that goal, is with the credit. It's not like I'm trying to depend on it. Like, oh
You
yeah,
know, or you can save up and match, and most banks will match you too.
yeah,
you don't
but
have to
that's-
depend on the
That's
credit.
a longer process.
Yeah, and you're earning something instead of building a heavier thing against you.
But when you look at us, right now, and I'm just being real here. Look at us, right?
Yeah.
30 years old.
Okay.
30 years old, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to play the race game here, right? Now look at white people and Asians and whatever.
Don't say you're not trying to play it and then throw the race
No,
out there.
but I'm
because that's what you just did.
No, I'm not. Just see, that's why we get into because you let me finish my whole thought, right? Let me finish the whole thought real quick, right? So when you look at them, I'm just talking about us as people, and I'm not blaming. See, this why I'm saying I'm not throwing a race card because I'm not blaming none of them, nobody, none of them other races or none of them other cultures or anything, but us as black people, right? We're already behind the 8 ball as far as knowing the knowledge that we say. Right, I get your idea, your concept, like you know what I mean. They can do the match thing, right? But right now, like when you look at it, right now, even if you give 18, right? So we'll say 18. So we're like 10 years, 12 years behind the average person in another race in our age. We're behind the credit, like knowing about credit, right? Because we really don't start thinking about that until you know what we get, till we actually really mature and just really sit back and think. And now we're looking at it. So that's what I'm saying. We're behind, and I'm again to not using a race card, but we're behind on that. So with your concept, with like you know what I mean, they can match you if you gotta say for instance a house and. You know what I mean? I get your match, but you're still working on the loan. I mean, you still got to get a loan, but I think you still would need the credit. I'm not
But
sure.
you want to know what's so
exactly
funny
what
about that
happened.
is that you're thinking about building your credit so that you can use it. To be honest with you, most of them people aren't depending on their credit is good, yes, but they're not buying stuff that they can't afford. Hence, why their credit is good, and they work and save. What I'm telling you, what I'm talking about is they work and save. Just like you're saying, the Chinese people and all that, they didn't just come over here, buy houses, and pay it off and build credit. No, they worked and saved over there and bought a property they could afford and bought stores so that they can make an income, which makes them save and afford something bigger.
I can agree. I agree, but disagree. I agree, but disagree.
Okay, how?
Because
What's the disagree?
I would say for some people that it's like that, but when people come over into our country, right? Mm-hmm. They already get a line of credit. Their stuff, they got a line of credit, so it doesn't matter. Like they can get like even if they got a job and they bring in this amount, they got a decent, or they can get a credit card and that's how it started. And they paid them that that bill for a couple months and stuff like that. Now they got this awesome credit, right? They didn't start like, you know what I mean? And not saying that they didn't start off like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we got to work hard for 10 years and then now we got credit. No, I mean, they're not doing that. They got a job because when they come over here, they don't like some of them come over here with no money and stuff like that. Like for instance, a lot of the Africans, right? And this ain't knocking them. A lot of them were refugees. Yeah. They didn't have the money and stuff like that. But now when they came to our country and they're just looking in 6 months or in a year or something like that. And some of them was working in little convenience stores and stuff like that. These motherfuckers is driving Dodge Chargers and Expeditions and Explore all this shit. So like, you know what I mean? Like they do get a little credit card. We gonna give you this, and maybe the credit people thinking, they gonna fuck up because they don't know our shit. Like, you know what I mean?
My thing is, are you working off of an assumption, or do you know, like you talk to somebody and they're like, yeah, I got a $16,000. Do you know their actual income?
I talked to.
That's what I'm saying. Is this an assumption, or is this like?
No, I talked to, and I'm not saying this is for all of them. That's why I said some. I said that's why I said your point is right. But like, I mean, I agree, disagree. But I have talked to 3 different people, and that's exactly what happened.
Where they went and they just picked up this crazy debt against themselves.
No, like they got a credit card and they worked on it. And that's what, and they got their little job, and like, you know what I mean. And with them, it's just like, say for instance, again, too, they have a better sense to me of family and unity, right? So with them, it's just like, so say for instance,
30 motherfuckers living in one house and all of them got an income.
Right. Or like, you know what I mean, like like that one person might be the car owner and got the license and stuff like that. Yeah. But
3 motherfuckers
paying on a car, right? Like, you know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean? That's.
But you see, like the plan of attack right there, where it's like we're all in the household, so we all take care of our vehicle.
Hey, Daryl, what is that about?
You get what I'm saying? Like they're all paying for it.
Right.
Now, granted, the one person might be on the car, but it's not solely him.
I know it's not solely him, but what all I'm saying was they get that they can get that they get that stuff when they come over here. All they do is get like something that small and they got the credit. Not saying like, you know what I mean, they just get it for shit. I mean, they work. Like I said, they work, they get a job, they get this thing. Like, you know what I mean? But they get better stuff than us because they came in at a good part because I mean, if you actually look at our culture, right? So by the time we're like 18 or something like that, for most of us, our parents already had something in our name, our credit's already fucked up from there, and then now we gotta work and do that. And we really even our schools don't teach us about credit. When you go to other schools at other school districts outside the city schools, they're learning about credit and
accounting and managing, keeping books and all
middle
that
school
stuff.
And shit like that, right? And our schools didn't do that, so that's what I'm saying. Like, and predominantly black schools, and like, you know what I mean, we're already behind the 8 ball because they got classes and they can prepare for that stuff.
And I get what you're saying. And I'm not talking about I'm talking like learning to grow. Yeah. Not sitting there and not saying that it's excuse. It's something that happened. That you're right. That has happened, but you don't have to stay in that position. You don't have to stay ignorant. You don't have to stay dependent on any one little thing. Because granted, like there's opportunities that are weighed against us, but we still have opportunity. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's still opportunity because granted, no matter how many motherfuckers will deny you a job, there's somebody that will hire you. No matter how, like one thing that they could try to fuck you over with getting an education, but as long as you save up, there's a school that will take your dollar and educate you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, so as long as you sit there and strive, and granted, we're 30. Yeah. Oh, so the fuck what? It's not too late for us to get out of debt.
I agree with you. I'm not trying to say it's too late. And Bree, I wasn't talking about your school specifically, but I'm telling you, in our schools,
there are some schools
like, you know what I mean, that that's one thing that was lacked. I mean, you probably got that class as a credit. I mean, as an elective at Peary in the 12th grade, like, you know what I mean, or 11th grade or something like that.
I never got an accounting class, and I was in freaking. Nah, man, I'm not gonna say because that's bullshit. But
right. So I mean,
but it's just about growing. That's all I'm saying is that, like, don't live beyond your means and work towards getting that stuff.
Right, I agree with you.
And if you're like, if you're in an upscene, you need to scale down. If you're in an upscene where, like, it's like trying to empty out a bucket with a fucking thimble. Like, come on now, you need to grow that fucking thimble, your income. Right. But in the midst, like, shrink that fucking debt.
Yes, like, just you do. Right, and that's something I look like again too. Like I said, I got college. I mean, student loans, and I don't even got a damn degree. I mean, that's a mistake that I did in school. And I mean, with schooling, but like, you know what I mean, I'm working on pen. At first, I'm like, I don't get, like, you know what I mean, I don't get. It's just like, this shit is just something on your credit report and stuff like that. Now I'm watching my stuff, and I took some steps.
You still want to watch it too. Like, don't just ignore your credit.
Right. I'm using some a credit repair place, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to throw them out there yet because I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to give them some praise and stuff like that now, and I don't know what it's fully about and what it fully does. But I mean, so far it's helping. That's what I'll say. My credit score did go up.
Always grow.
But
and we opened up this opened up the show with talking about the topic of like housing and all that. Now, what do you feel like the purpose of low income housing is?
Again, too, I think we talked about it a couple times.
We skipped over it real quick.
Yeah, but the purpose of low income housing is a stepping stone, man, and it's for you to go there. You know what I mean? And again, too, I don't think there's not a timeline, right? There's not a timeline, but it's used as a stepping stone. When you're up there, like, you know what I mean, grind. You know, like, you know what I mean, get some goals. Get focused, like, and get determined, like, and I know, like, you know what I mean, sometimes we all have bad times, we all fall on hard times, we all hit financial struggles sometimes, but like, you know what I mean, just stay focused. And it's a stepping stone. Like I said, like, for me, it was like, you know what, I lived up there, and like, and I knew the project was meant for a stepping stone, but it's just like, you know what I mean, it's just like, nah, like, you know what I mean, this is what I can afford. But then when I really start trying to go out there, I start getting my jobs, and I see myself, I'll be honest, I was making, like, I started working when I was 12. I started working when I was 12 at the Science Center, getting a little stipend, and then my first job was McDonald's at $5.15. Then I went to Foot Action making $5.15. Then I had different jobs making $6, and then $7, and then I made $8, then $9, and then I jumped to 12, and then now I'm making more than that, right? And like, I had to grow, though. I had to get out there and grind and show my worth, show people, show employers and jobs that I'm worth the money, like, you know what I mean, me as a person, and what I offer is good and is worth what you're paying me. So that's something you got to do. But housing is nothing. It's supposed to be used as a stepping stone. Again, too, there's no timeline, but you gotta want better. You shouldn't want to just stay there your whole life. You gotta want better. I mean, if you do want to stay there your whole life, I mean, by all means, that's you. But I'm like, it's supposed to be used as a stepping stone. So I don't care. Even if you're there, that's what I'll say. Because, you know, a couple years ago they put that shit on the news, and there's people living in the housing authority,
making $100,000 a year,
making $60,000 a year. Some people do that, but
their bills are equivalent to that.
Yeah, right. So they're not in there getting, because people who never lived in a project think this, and like,
they're paying $8 and they're making all that money.
Yeah, and they're getting food stamps and all this other stuff. No,
their bills are like $600 for rent,
and like, they're helping provide rent to some of the other people, because again, too, they're taxpayers too, so their money's going into these places too, right?
Yeah,
and they're paying probably more than what you're paying a month, like, you know what I mean, in rent. So. I mean, in your mortgage to their rent, but money. You know what I mean. So that's what I want to say. Like, you know what I mean. Just because somebody's making a decent amount at their job and they live in a projects doesn't mean like they're financially stable yet to make that move.
You ever notice, like, because some people don't assume that anybody's doing it, because they might be making $60,000, but they got $80,000 in student loans,
right?
And that shit's getting taxed out of their check. You don't know what they're going through, or maybe it's one of them things where they're living in the projects because they make $60,000, but they got 8 kids.
Right.
And they really can't afford to pay for 8 kids and live in a house paying $1,000 a month for rent and pay utilities on top of that. You don't know the whole scenario.
And I mean, and also, like, you know what I mean, they might just be lacking some of the skills that they need, like, as far as the budgeting thing and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean?
So where that's only where they can manage.
Too, and they need to talk to some people, because, you know what I mean, like, I'll be honest, like, you know what I mean, like, I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm not scared of nothing. I'm scared of clowns and shit like that. But, like, you know what I mean, the fear, like, to me, my biggest fear over the clowns and all that stuff is failing my family. That's my biggest fear. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, so to me, it's just like, I mean, you never know even what they're going through. They might be scared to take that step because they don't want to fail their family. Like you said, you don't know how many kids they got. They might get 2, they might get 3, even if it's, and it doesn't matter how many they got, but they got to be secure with their self and be ready to make that move, or have the savings to make that move. Because I don't think nobody grew up in the projects. I mean, honestly, and this, just saying my opinion. Ooh. People don't grow up, be born in the projects and live in the projects their whole life to say, oh yeah, this is where I want to stay. Because when you're a kid, you're thinking about, oh yeah, even when you're riding on the bus, oh yeah, that's my house right there. I'm gonna have a big house, like, you know what I mean?
Garage. Nobody, there's a boat. I'm gonna get me a boat.
Right. Nobody really is staying there. I mean, living up there when they're young and going into adulthood. I mean, to the teens.
But there's people that'll get comfortable with
they're
it.
Right.
And that's the
we
thing.
And
it's easier to just sit in the projects and not work than to get out here and grind and hustle.
Yeah.
But I'll say one thing, like, there's certain people you can be happy in the Jacks just with the bare minimums. That's beautiful. That's great. But for those people where you're miserable and it's a stress, you need to try to develop a drive to get out of that situation. Like, literally, like, because, I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do. You can deliver pizzas. You can work in a restaurant for tips. You can work at a bar. You can, like, we picked up fucking cameras and now we're just taking pictures and learning that craft. Like, there's so much stuff, different grinds that you could do, but always try to keep you a 9-to-5 job, get you some type of job for an income, and then Uber, Lyft, Jitney on the side, or pick you up a little part-time thing. If you're able to go to school, pay for school, and then try to move out of the Jacks once you get a better employment opportunity. You know what I mean?
So, Chilling, so Chilling said this, and I just want to read this, and I just to bring some recognition to it. Right, it says it was the project. How about the project? It was made so you don't move into white neighborhoods. So you didn't move into white neighborhoods. I think that's what they were trying to put. Right, but this is what I'll say. Even if it was if that's what it was made for,
that doesn't mean you have to stay there.
That doesn't mean you have to stay there. So, like, you know what I mean? That's what we got to start. Like, you know what I mean? Me personally, like, again, too, I know, like, some of the barriers and stuff like that we had culturally. But it's time to break them barriers down. It's time to step over them or do whatever you got to do to move it. We also was brought here to America to be slaves. Right, and then we had a lot of people who came before us who broke that mold and became more and was determined and gave us the opportunity to do this stuff that we can do now.
And now we're slave to material things and slave to the lack of knowledge.
Right,
it's
so
how I'm feeling right at this moment. Like, we still have, like, certain discrimination, certain still racism and all that other stuff. But I feel like, I mean, we are our worst enemy.
Right.
And that goes for anybody.
Yeah, anybody, right.
Like,
all people.
Lack of drive, you are your worst enemy.
Right. And you are. And so, like, you know what I mean? Again, too, like, I'm not going to sit there and disagree with you. I mean, and I'm not going to say that you're 100% right. I'm not going to say that you're 100% wrong. But what I'm saying is that doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean?
You control your goals. And granted, like I said earlier, some people can deny you jobs, but everybody's not going to deny you a job.
Right.
Some people may discriminate you on a raise, but everybody's not going to discriminate on you. Right. Because once you increase your worth, you're able to move.
Right.
That's what people don't understand.
And you got to be comfortable. You got to be comfortable with yourself. You got to be strong-minded. You got to believe in yourself in order to, like, nobody else can believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
Exactly. Because, like, people will be like, I'm not getting that raise over here, and they keep giving it to the next person. Well, if you're really worth that much, start shopping around. Mm-hmm. And if that company's not willing to give you, and a lot of people argue with, well, I feel like I'd be disloyal to go work for the competition. No, you won't, because they didn't appreciate you.
Right.
And if the competition appreciates you, not granted, if it's a thing you help build from the ground up, but I'm talking about going into a big business where they're holding you back and they set your ceiling low. You're not obligated. You do work, you're paid service. You do work, they pay you for the work they do. If they're not giving you an opportunity to grow, find a place to grow. The same way a plant's going to sit there. A plant grows, but if there's too much shade and there's a spot of sun over there, or like if they're facing towards the west and you plant it facing towards the west and the sun rises in the east, most plants will turn toward. Go to what helps you grow.
Right. That was a strong point. I like that. Hey, you know what, Jimmy? I want to give you a shout out. Thanks for sharing all that stuff. And message it to us so we can share it and post to our page. I mean, I know Manu probably have it, but just message it to us so that way we can see it and we can share it, or Justina can post it or whatever. One of us will post it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you know what? This was a good topic. I really liked today's show. I felt like we did a lot. I mean, and it was good.
And granted, I'm very straightforward with a lot of things. And you don't like my wording.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. Look, we had we disagreed on something. I didn't like the wording. You don't like some of the words I say, but you know what I mean. That one just.
Nah, your words are pretty perfect.
Yeah, we get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but hey, you know what? I feel like, and I want to thank everybody for participating. Chantel, Brittany,
Melanie,
Jimmy,
Howard.
That's Jimmy is Howard.
Oh, my bad, Jimmy.
Hammer, my dad, Jermaine. Hey, you know what? Shout out
Chocolate
to
Jones.
Chocolate Jones on YouTube. We seen you over there, baby. I mean, auntie. Yeah. So, like, you know what I mean? Shout out to all you guys. We really appreciate you guys watching. And if you want Like, you know what I mean? So please share our show. Let people know that we are out there. And if you missed the show or you want people to hear it later, you want to just tell people about it, we're also on iTunes and Google Play Music. And you can find us on there. And we're live on Facebook and YouTube every Monday at 6:30.
Definitely. And if you have a podcast application that you use and you can't find us, let us know what that app is so we can get our information over to them so they can start carrying us on their network.
Yep. And every show after we do a show, the show is available Tuesday the following day. So you can come back on here and watch us on Facebook and watch us. You go back on YouTube and watch us, but we prefer you to go to YouTube. Right? Go to YouTube and rewatch the show, right? And you know what I mean? And but if you're in a car, you want to like, you know what I mean, just turn on your little Bluetooth audio if you got the one that can talk, or you got the aux cord, and just listen to us on the way, or have your friends listen to it. Hey, you know what I mean? By all means, you can find us here. Just search Common Conversation 412. If you have any suggestions on future topics and stuff like that.
Credit is everything until you don't have to depend on credit.
Yep. But if you have a suggestion
once
on
you
future
break that
topics,
barrier, that's a beautiful thing where you can just, instead of trying to borrow for what you want, you can literally afford it.
Yep.
And you don't need your credit. Granted, it'll help your credit, but you won't need it because
Right.
you can afford it. But yeah, like he was saying, and also if you have want to reach out to us via email, you can find us at commonconversation412@gmail.com, or you can hit us with a message on the Facebook fan page at Common Conversation 412 where you happen to be watching us.
Right.
But make sure
And
that you hit the share button before you guys exit out. And also, I mean, if you have any topics like he was saying that you want us to discuss, just hit us with a message or post it onto the page. Or hell, you can hit
if you want to stay anonymous,
you can reach us. Yeah, reach out to us. It's that simple.
And you can stay anonymous if you want. Also, too, invite people to like our show. Until next time, people, we are out. I am your host, Token.
And I am your host, Mano, M-A-N-N-O.
We are out, baby.
Bye.
The song ain't playing.
Comment.
Uh-oh.
What? The remix?
Common Conversation 412. Token the Mano, Pittsburgh, what it do?
What it do, y'all?
We in the city of bridges, we in the city of smoke. We in the city of rivers, so you don't need you a moat. We in the city of haters, so you just might need a coat. Or at least bring your jacket, cause man, the city get cold. Yeah, man, the city is frosty, yeah, man, the city is costly, but yeah, the city is mine. For 1, 2 times, well, you know that we grind, cause you know money is time, and you know time is steady ticking, so I gotta get mine. Then it's time to come up, so put your hands up. Let's all live this life before death interrupt. Ain't no time for mess up. Man, you better get with it. Arithmetic that I'm spitting, now do the math that you listen. Common Conversation 412.
Alright, folks, we out. Till next time, people.
We love you.
Oh, I hit it. It should be right there.